Hi, and as you can imagine, being a life coach, I get a lot of people come to me that have procrastination issues. Now, I'm not going to go into detail in procrastination in this video because that would just take far too long, and there's multiple reasons why people can procrastinate, and it varies from person to person. But I do want to share with you a quick tip that can help with certain types of people, and you'll be able to judge whether this works for you. So let me ask you a question. Do you work better up to deadlines? Now, my guess is you probably just answered yes to that. Okay, and if you've answered yes to that, then you're amongst a huge group of people. Okay. In fact, just about everybody always tells me when they've got procrastination issues that they work better up to deadlines, and that's why they'll cram everything up in the last 3 days. So you think, okay, well, why is this? Why do people work better up to deadlines? And there's a very good reason, because if you've got an important deadline, the closer you get to it, the more your amygdala sets off to give you a feeling of danger, and the more your fight or flight state is aroused. Now, when we go into fight or flight, numerous physiological changes take place. And most of these changes are to help us either fight or flight. But they can also help us do other things. They can give us tunnel vision. They can allow us to concentrate more. They can get the heart rate up a little bit so we're more on edge and we're more likely to perform. Now, if you ever look at the flow state, and the flow state, you can call it being in the zone or whatever, popularized by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi in the book Flow, then the flow state is not an absence of stress. It's having just the right amount of stress. And that's what we're looking for here. So if you look at it as like a bell curve, if stress is a bell curve and you start off with zero stress, you can't have zero stress unless you're dead. Although severely depressed people have very low stress levels, okay, rather counterintuitively. But you start off with very, very low stress, and then you go up, and then you peak. And what happens at peak? That's a flow state. Now, if you carry on gaining stress, and stress is moving along the bottom here on the x-axis, I have no idea, it's 30 years since I was in school. Anyway, so as you start to come down and the stress climbs, but what happens then is you start to see a breakdown of cognitive function. You start to see a breakdown of performance when you're just too stressed that all your body's trying to do is survive. So it's when your mouth goes dry and you start to want to empty the contents of your body. Okay, so here's how we deal with that, how we create that sense so you can get close to the flow state without actually being up against the deadline. And it's really simple, and you may even be ahead of me on it. You imagine it. You use visualization. So you visualize yourself. I'm visualizing now, my phone not going off, which you may not have even heard, but now you know about it. So you visualize yourself in the situation a few days before when you know you're going to be really stressed. Okay, you see that in as much detail. So you hear what you'd hear, you'd feel what you'd feel, and any voices that are associated with that, any smells, any of your senses, the more of the senses that you can incorporate, the better. And then what you do, you start to imagine that, you'll feel your anxiety levels start to rise. You'll feel the same way as you would if you do it properly, as if you were coming up to the deadline. Then you've got you're in a heightened state of arousal. Then when you've done that, that's when you do the work. Okay, go and try it. It's a very, very simple technique. It does work, not for everybody. For most people, it does work well if you can be bothered to take the time and sit down and visualize it. So best of luck with it. Thanks for watching.